This video is under fair use. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticisms, comments, news reportings, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing.
CCNTV, bringing you captivating news since 2019.
Welcome to another episode of Politics and Wellness. I am your host, Captivating Christian, and of course, along with my co-host, Brother Nate, and you beautiful people, it's Tuesday, and it's so much to talk about, so little time, but we have time today to talk about a lot of things. Without further ado, of course, Brother Nate, let me know when you're ready, and to all of you, all right, cool, I gotcha, and to all of you who are, of course, in the balcony, your waiter or waitress will be around with your drink of choice. Hey, Mother Melissa Scott, how are you, Auntie? Hopefully you're doing well.
Girl, you had me dying.
Cracking up. I was working and then mistyping and doing all types of stuff like, oh, she is foolish right now. But very true. I was so for it. Hey, T. Danielle, how are you? It's always a pleasure to see you. I know all the time you be in my head giving the side eye to Rebel, of course, when he be acting a fool because he do lying all the time. But it's always great to see you. So how are you, sir? How you been?
I'm doing quite well, sir.
That's good. So much has happened since the last time we visited.
Yes.
Darnell got some more stripes on his back.
You sure do.
So much. We got SmellyCatGate. We got all types of stuff going on. We got the battle of the dates. Just so much stuff to get into. But of course, before we get into the foolery that is of YouTube, that of course everybody's been talking about, we of course got to do some house stuff and get some real news out the way before we get to the foolishness of the smelly cat and the whatever the little pad situation and the smelly poom and all this other craziness. But so without further ado, of course, welcome everybody.
Say wait, what? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
smelly cat. Yeah,
smelly cat. Smelly cat. So much going on. But of course, welcome everybody. Welcome into the chat. Hey, Johnny Mac, how are you, sir? Nice to see you. Always a pleasure. Patty Duke, it wouldn't be a Tuesday without Patty, of course.
Patty.
Awesome. Nice to see you as always, my dear. And of course, everybody else, you're in the balcony. Your waiter or waitress will be around to bring you your drink of choice or whatever.
Rounds for everybody. Free rounds for everybody.
Yeah, right.
Because it's been one of those.
It has been one of those. And all I'm going to say before I even get started is kudos to you beautiful black women, because you know how to get shit done, okay?
Out here playing expressway, out here playing with these white boys, all right?
Right. There's nobody playing around with these white boys. We're bringing chairs and signing names to documents, okay? All right. So without further ado, let's get started with this news. All right. So as you may have known, before you went to bed last night or when you woke up this morning, you realize, surprise, Georgia state prosecutor has dropped the bomb on Donald Trump, and the grand jury has come back with more counts of him trying to overturn the election. Now, what kind of sparked all they would come this week? I saw a news article earlier in the week about, I want to say was it Sunday? Might have been even Saturday, somewhere around there. And they were talking about a memo about Donald Trump and his, hunchmen and henchwomen trying. Yes. Because one of them looked like a hunchback in Notre Dame. That big, tall white woman. I forgot her name, but she looked crazy. That they were trying to steal a voting machine in a county that Trump won by 70% in Georgia, to then utilize the software to manipulate it, of course, and claim that, see, there's voter fraud. Look what we found here. But again, dumb. I mean, I really I don't know who's not thinking here, but if he already won the county by 70%, how can you prove that there was voter fraud in a county he won by 70% by manipulating that county's machine? I was just like, who's supposed to believe this? I'm like, do y'all think everybody has like a third grade education? I'm just trying to figure out where is the logic in just that alone. It just stopped right there. I was just like, but how, if he won it by 70% and y'all were going to steal the voting machines from that county to then manipulate the software so you can prove that there was voting irregularities that you lost, but everybody else won who was on the same ticket as you, but you lost because the machines was rigged. None of it really makes sense to me. But Fani Willis, the prosecutor out in Georgia, has finally put his name on the docket, not just a conspirator he possibly might be. We don't know if he knows or if he orchestrated it. We can't really say. No, she has put his name as the CEO of this crime family to try and steal this election. Go ahead, sir.
Rico. That's all.
Right.
Go ahead. Continue.
Yeah, right. So she, all the other prosecutors have been using other things to kind of go after Trump or to place charges on Trump for election fraud and things of that nature. With this RICO charge, the RICO charge basically, in layman terms, it allows you to open the entire scam of the criminality and no stone gets left unturned. In other situations, you've heard people say, oh, this was redacted, this is redacted, that person's redacted. No, in a RICO, everything is out in the open. Pretty much. The only thing that's not are the people who flipped. That's the only people who actually don't get to be mentioned.
Lady girl, where you at?
Right, Lady G. That's the only people that don't get mentioned in a RICO cases, all the people who flip. So most of the time, the people involved that do receive the charges, they know who flipped because those people's names are not in a lot of the situations that other people have been getting hit for. So I thought it was cool. I definitely thought it was great. She definitely, kept her composure, and when she was done answering questions, she just walked off. She didn't say this is the last question. She just said what she said, and she walked off. Now, granted, I about the speedy trial thing or getting it within 6 months. I don't know if that's going to happen. I can see a lot of these white men complaining that they are now sickly and they need extensions and all this type of shit to kind of buy them time. I can just see that coming down the pike. But the fact that all these people were named, there were even 2 black, 1 male and 1 female.
Yes, I can tell by the names.
Right. Of the black conservative movement down in Georgia, who was participating in the bullshit. Now, again, like I always say, I don't care that you happen to be black and conservative, but what I do care about is when you're black and conservative, but you already know what it is, and the fact that you still go along with it, and knowing good and goddamn well they're going to come after you harder than they're going to come after your white counterparts. I'm just saying. Because the names popped right out and people start pulling.
They sure did.
Right away. People start pulling their pictures up. They still haven't mentioned a lot of the other co-conspirators, of course, like Giuliani, the tall, white, funny-looking lawyer lady, her behind, and it serves them right for the company
Dominion.
Dominion. That's what I was about to say. I wasn't sure for a second. Yeah, Dominion. It serves them right for whipping their ass in court, getting millions and millions and millions upon dollars to shut these mofos up because they proceeded to use this lie to win back this election by getting people in power to lie and say, you know what, no, he actually did win, and to have these whole state of electors, these fake people, say, oh no, we've stepped in. The governor has given us power to reinvestigate this election. For once, I can say I am proud of Governor Kemp for keeping his mouth closed and just letting everything just go. And I think that's pretty much because Trump was clowning him the whole time. So he was like, all right, you keep talking shit, and when this shit hit the fan, I'm gonna sit back and let this woman do her job, and I'm not gonna interfere, not one bit. And when you get hit, you get hit. Because I think a lot of the people that do support him, that even say still to this day that if he is the presidential nominee, they would still vote for him, even though they're allowing him to go through all this. They felt they were attacked. And they got a little feeling of what it feels like to be on the other side of this when you are against, when you have a mob of people coming after you, coming after your family because you chose to go against this whole mega movement, this whatever you call itself. So that's where we are right now, and Any more thoughts on that? It's just a glorious morning. I was like,
Right, Melissa. That's the first thing I was thinking about. Heart attacks. I want to see how many of these motherfuckers actually make it to trial.
Right.
Them faces, all the blood just drained down. Yes.
Yeah.
I am enjoying that part. Especially Giuliani. I mean, I wish this troll just go
on. Just go on.
Go away. Go away permanently.
Yeah.
Permanently.
People like him and others, for some reason, I believe is definitely going to be harder on them. And again, this is a state situation. This is not something that, even if he was to be president again, that he can just take the wand and wipe it away. He won't be able to do that. I mean, again, he could see if Kemp would put, somebody in place, or if Kemp felt the need to replace her and then kind of put people in place to kind of quiet the investigation so it doesn't move any further, like he tried to do with his own Justice Department. That's a whole nother thing that, of course, he may be looking at more charges involving that. But I just think it's really ridiculous. It just basically says that, of course, if you white and you have the right money, not even a lot of it, but the right money, you can do what you want, and the laws really don't apply to you. Yeah, and the laws really don't apply to you. And if you do get caught up in that, we can hit the fit that, how do you do this? How dare you do this? But truth be told, if it was anybody else, y'all would have hung them. Y'all would have hung Hillary Clinton upside down
week
by
I say
her
the same
broom.
thing.
Yeah.
If they were in another country, they'd be
They'd be
dangling
dead.
off of a rope.
Yeah,
Okay.
Right. On a whole impalement, just chilling for everybody to see.
They'd have snatched them up. They'd have been in prison. They'd have went through their whole family.
Let's
see
see
who knew what.
Right.
And what's it? Ivanka and Daryl. Jared, whatever.
Yeah.
The slumlord.
Yeah.
That had all of they would have even had the kids.
The Slumdog Millionaire.
They would disappeared right off of the face of the earth.
I mean, it's very true. I mean, for me, it's funny how they even talk about Hunter Biden in this kind of, look at the schemes and the money that Joe Biden is handed off to his son and the different kind of jobs he was able to get him. And I'm just like, how do y'all say that when Jared Kushner walked away with $2.something billion from the Saudis?
Mm-hmm.
It has
not including all those other backdoor deals,
backdoor perks.
Here
and things.
Remember what's her face got some patents from over in China. And here they were throwing up sanctions. Right. They were throwing up sanctions against China. At the same time, she was getting deals.
All her stuff patent to then sell it as she's wearing it, selling it while she's working in the White House. But we're not going to talk about that. Mm-hmm. It's just ridiculous. But definitely check out the article.
See, this is why we got blacklisted last week. They snatched our shit down. I knew I saw a van outside my house.
They did. But I mean, it's okay. I enjoy the fact that we talk about real stuff, and it's not sugar coated and kind of pacified, as of course they like to do, because they love us to talk about each other and do the whole.
Yeah, but they were real upset by the by the brawl.
By the brawl. Right. And watching themselves get mutilated the way that they did. But they deserved it. You put your hands on people, you fuck around and find out. This is not the day and age where somebody can get punched in the face and they got to turn the other cheek because what could happen to them is a lot worse. No, you put your hands on somebody, you're gonna get dealt with, point blank and period. And that's just the way it is. So with that, there was two articles, of course, in relation to the same thing. There was the article after that. A post dropped about the charges, and they were somewhat similar. Basically, I just think that was, of course, a Trump supporter trying to put the stuff out there once they found out what was coming to kind of avert the whole thing. Because, of course, when it goes to trial, they can say, oh, it was already out beforehand, this, that, and the other. We want to, do a mistrial or say things were done unfairly. But that's okay, because what's going to happen is everything has a fingerprint, and they're going to find out who was the one that leaked that information that they wind up dropping. I think it posted and it dropped like within an hour. It was erased. They're going to find out who tried to leak the information to give the Trump team and the supporters a heads up, and they won't have a job anymore. So sometimes
they were trying to rile up his base to go down there and be violent. That's what they were hoping for. That all those hillbillies would jump in the back of their pickup trucks and ride on down there to
to threaten her and do all types of stuff. But yeah, it's a different day and age, people. It is a different day and age. People out here and get themselves messed up, messing around with people. Now, I am convinced, and I know I tease and I call him Uncle Clarence Thomas, but I am so convinced that Justice Clarence Thomas is a complete and utter sellout. There's nothing else. Nothing else. I don't even want to go into this that much because it is what it is. I mean, ProPublica has discovered that, of course, Clarence Thomas has had 38 vacations with other billionaires that have treated him.
Just a hoe. He's a hoe. He
Right.
that.
That's what, like,
so
yeah,
wide.
he is in the branch of the judicial system, and he is the hoe for the billionaire. And especially now that they have the majority of the court, you know, he's there to do their bidding. And as long as he gets pampered and paid, he don't give a rat's ass about anybody else. And yeah, I think the true definition of what we should not be as a people is that thing over there. I mean, there's some other people that can take that you know, that candidate stroll to trust and believe it. But yeah, this story was definitely not that much eye-opening that we discovered what we discovered about
just more. See, that's the
billionaire.
whole thing.
Right,
because they were only concentrating on the one billionaire that bought his mom's house and
that's
sent his grandkid to school,
his grandnephew to school. Yeah,
I mean, was him and Clarence and Jenny? Were they all doing all that everything?
Yeah, I think that's what I think it is. I think once they keep digging, they're gonna find that it's a whole swinging thing going on because it's just too. It's just too much. It really is too much for somebody that you consider, oh, this is a good friend. Da, 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 da. Like, nah, y'all got some other shit going on there.
Like I wrote you, he's a pocket nigga. That's what he is. He is a pocket nigga.
As soon as you said that, all I thought about was Polly Pocket. It was like, he's a Polly Pocket
I keep a little Clarence in my pocket.
He's like, of course I got a black friend. I got a Clarence.
That's right. And I pulled him right out of my pocket.
Right out my pocket when I need him.
He comes with a Jenny.
Right. And she's white.
That is
so crazy.
But he's another one. I can't wait for him to meet the savior.
And the sad part is, as I was reading this when you sent it, because it came to me before, but it wasn't ProPublica, it was something else. And all I can think is, you actually put your ass in the seat of Thurgood Marshall. You was Thurgood Marshall's replacement on the court, and you have by far, just thinking that you are the one that replaced the man that made Brown versus the Board of Education something in which black children can get the same quality education as their white counterparts. You are the replacement.
He doesn't care.
And don't give a flying fuck.
See, that's our problem for allowing our emotions to get involved. If you leave it emotionless, you know what he said when he plopped his ass in that seat? He said, that motherfucker didn't get paid like I did, boy. And that's exactly what he did.
That is crazy.
And he's laughing all the way home. And he said, wait to tell Jenny, look what I did today, mommy.
But he is a frontline and center candidate for the Brown versus the Board of Education. Like, it was him. So the fact that you are sitting in the man's seat and doing this to everything that he fought for, just it blows my mind. It really does. It really does blow my mind. But whatever.
Well, those other things being blown, but
yeah.
I'm sure of that because all them nasty. That's why that man, what's his face, the one that went to prison that was running the because I'm sure Epstein. I'm sure all of them, all of their names and
all their
names because they
kept
meticulous records.
I don't doubt it. And
I'm surprised that woman's not dancing off at the end of a rope either.
I just figured that he wrote everything down just for Mad Day because he figured that if he was gonna go down, he was gonna take everybody down.
Oh yeah, you always keep an ace in the hole, even when you're working in your regular jobs.
Right.
You always keep an ace in the hole. Always have something, especially if you have an asshole that's always on you about something. Right. You keep all those records. You jot down things. Because it's like if I'm gonna get burnt in this house, I'm gonna burn the whole fucking house down. Right. We're gonna do all this. Yeah, Pat, remember that the pubic hair on the coke? That's all I kept. And I was a kid when I heard that. And I was like, huh?
Yes.
But then you get older, it's like, oh, okay.
Oh, right. So gross. So moving right along to
That's why I drink Pepsi.
other things. Speaking of not even Pepsi, but the darkness of politics, Texas, the blackout in Texas that happened in 2021, that winter blackout, it was caused not by any kind of, they said something had blew, and this whole thing of
the
power grid was overwhelmed and all this, and it was like, no, they're putting out a lawsuit that this was actually just done for greed.
Yeah,
straight greed, total utter greed, just try to get more money. And you think about it, they do the same thing with gas, and people act like it depends on who's in the White House, the reason why your gas is high. No, they they play with that like they play with everything else. Yeah, emotions.
Your emotions and the stock market.
Right. Yeah, they play with that.
But how many thousands of people died because of that?
Right. Yeah. So during the cold weather in Texas in February of 2021, and it shut down the national gas power plants and froze wind turbines and all those type of things that happen. And of course, a lot of people who live in the South, they don't know how to deal with cold, inclement weather.
Yeah. And well, you don't have to do too much for that now, especially not this summer.
No, but and due to so they can get this pipeline rolling and flowing. So it's really ridiculous. Like Governor Hot Wheels, you really I can't with that.
You know what it kind of reminds me of when you have a dead battery, your car's battery is dying, right. But you say I'm going to run to the store anyway, knowing that you're going to take it, and then you praying that they turned that shit off, thinking that shit was going to kick back over, and all that shit shut down and froze up.
Right. Right.
And they couldn't get it.
They couldn't get it back on.
They couldn't get it back on.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's exactly what they did. But all those thousands of people that died froze to death in their home. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Everything revolves around money, which there's nothing back in it. That's the whole thing. It's fictitious shit. This dirty ass paper that we have. And they will.
It's a note.
It is crazy.
It's an IOU.
Exactly. A IOU.
And then not only that, you do all this to try and get money from these people and corporations. People die, and then you don't want to turn around and pay them for the pain and suffering that you caused to them and their families. But you have the same money surplus that you got from trying to do this scheme. You have enough money to take people on bus rides, migrants, to New York and DC, or to build that shit in the water between Mexico and Texas, where people are dying and drowning.
Yeah, those buoys down there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely ridiculous. Like, Governor Hot Wheels, you need to be ashamed of yourself. Like, nah.
I swear that there isn't a mass pow of like all of these politicians. It just blows my mind. It really does.
The fact that they've been, granted, there have been some politicians even back in my younger years that were a bit vicious, or even people would say were kind of hard ass, but these mofos are on some.
No, and they'll tell you that they and then they'll show you.
Yeah, like some,
and they're just going about their business.
Yeah, like some dictator shit. Like it's just okay, and it's just like, well, we like the policies. Like, no, people are dying due to a lot of these policies. Like,
I'm glad when we realize that there's a lot of us, and they can't get all of us.
I wish we would have realized that a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
you know what? There's a sale on shares.
Right, or get one from your local church.
That's seriously. It ain't even got to fold. Just whip some ass. You take a leg off it. It don't even have to be a chair. We'll take anything you got.
No, it don't. Actually, I just saw a clip of a young man having a fight. Was it Chicago? It was somewhere. He had a chair. He was whopping it.
Oh yeah, in the bar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was whipping that ass. Now that is how a chair should be used. Chairs aren't just for sitting anymore. Oh yeah, he whooped that ass. He definitely whooped that ass. See, we would show you that, but we can't afford to get popped again.
No, YouTube is on some whatever, but we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it all day. And it is what it is. In other news, Illinois governor has signed a racism-free schools act into law. This legislation would be the first of its kind to create a stated policy that fought against racism and discrimination in the schooling place. Black students matter is the kind of thing pushing forth. I don't know. I mean, for me, it's like it sounds cool, but I want to see what it does.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah.
It sounds good on paper.
Right.
But you have to have somebody to break the law.
Right.
To actually see the impact of it.
Right. To see what it does. If it's just like, oh, you shouldn't do that. And, you know, they got to walk around with this little, I said something I shouldn't have.
Scarlet letter.
On them. It's like, what good is that? No, I need to see you removed from the school system.
Yeah, you have to lose it. It has to be, I mean, the penalties have to pack a punch.
Right.
That's the problem.
Right.
They sound good and they may look good on paper, but they have no bite to them.
Right.
You know,
if somebody can just get up and go to another state and get rehired as an educator after saying some vile racist stuff to a student, then what good is the law in the first place?
That's why as parents you should whip that ass.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You be like, don't worry about it, son or daughter, I got this. And you show up and you take care of it. But definitely check out that article. I thought it was interesting. And what was this? Oh, okay. So yeah, speaking of Black Students Matter, let's take a look. I thought I had downloaded it, but I'm sorry. Give me one moment. I should just nope, I'll just do this. Did it download? Maybe it did. Hold on 1 second. What was it? Yeah, cool. Got it. So speaking of Black students mattering, if there was ever such a word, there's this video clip that I want you to watch that we need to be mindful. We shouldn't have to, but we need to be mindful when you're sending your children out to do chores and tasks that they should be doing, taking the trash out and doing things of that nature, that these, I don't know what you call them, these clowns are watching them and harassing them, quote unquote, looking for suspects, just throwing their authoritative little meats around, I guess. I don't know. Just take a look at this and we'll discuss it on the back.
Kid bringing out his trash to be dumped and he's getting harassed by the police.
He was taking out his trash, yo.
His dad's coming out to see why they have put his son in handcuffs.
yo, they put him in handcuffs. He was just coming to dump. Yo, that was the wrong shit, yo. But what the kid do, though? He fit the description. That's for bullshit.
Yeah, so in this story, the young man was taking the trash out for his family and was accosted by the police officer, handcuffed, and placed in the back of the squad car. Now, the trauma that would do to a child that's never been in trouble, as his father said, was a good kid, was a well-rounded student. I'm just like, and the only thing that they can say to get out of the situation is he fit a description. Now, if every black teenager in America didn't fit a description, as they always like to say, they wouldn't have anything to go on. That's their go-to line for everything. Everybody fits the description. Everybody fits the description. But I also even looked at the other officers. I saw there was a black woman officer involved in situation. I don't know what she said because I couldn't hear her, but it didn't look like she said or did much. Because even when she walked over to the squad car where the young boy was to try and talk to him, one of the other officers told her to go someplace else. Now, I don't know how the hierarchy works in policing. If you can't address your hierarchy, if you see them doing something incorrectly, I don't know how that works, but I'm just, to me, if you're not saying nothing, then you're complicit with the same, with all of it. If the young man was just taking his trash out, and you can't speak to the parent to kind of find out what's going on, I think there needs to be a little more community engagement than just this kind of, we police y'all or you all or this area, and this is how we're going to police you. There's no interaction. If we feel like you fit a description or we need to criminalize you, we will do so. And then we'll deal with the consequences later, because there won't be any consequences, because we'll just say you fit a description and oops, sorry, my bad. But that child was traumatized, crying like no tomorrow, because he's never witnessed or experienced anything like that. And to know that he has to feel like unsafe just from doing something as simple as taking out the trash, when that officer knows that his son does not have to deal with that. His son can take out the trash and do whatever the hell he wants to do and not have to worry about someone pulling him over and harassing him like that. Any thoughts on the video, sir?
It was handled totally wrong, because you don't walk up to a strange kid,
right,
and handcuff him. It's not as though you didn't ask where did he live. You didn't place him in the back of the patrol car, but you handcuffed him,
right,
in his, pretty much in his home,
right,
in his home. This is his neighborhood. He lives in those apartment buildings. That was in his home. You've totally traumatized him. I have to commend the father, because I'd have poured on that. I'd have poured over that motherfucker like water, because I would have been, because watching it invokes,
and
it real that, oh man, that bothers the fuck out of me. I mean, I'd have poured over that bitch, and I'd have been in jail.
Yeah,
straight up, I'd have been in jail. The young man has been on one of the TV shows. He's afraid to go pick up the mail. He's afraid to leave the house.
Right.
Because you have to remember too, these kids see all of this foolishness that's going on out here in the street.
Yeah.
And to actually think that it's in your home,
right,
and this is how easy it is,
Yeah,
and the lackluster bullshit apology or non-apology, because the governor or the mayor, either one of those, said that they issued an apology. The police department issued an apology, but the family said they haven't heard anything.
Right.
But it's it is just one of those types of things, and you know, you're a black man, black woman, you've seen this stuff, and you know how it goes.
Yeah.
But you know that if that kid was white, they would have probably walked him over. They would have asked his address. Right. He said, he said, well, this is what's going on, but I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do is, where do you live? Can I talk to your parents?
Right.
And that's it.
Right.
That's all he had to do. Not the first gut reaction is to put a 12-year-old
in handcuffs.
Right. Okay.
Because they're not children. Because they're not children, or even young teenagers. They're full-on adults that'll take you down.
And did he look like he was dressed to steal a Kia?
I mean,
I can tell you, if you're gonna do some shit, wear some shoes. If you didn't learn anything from last week, don't be out there whipping ass in flip flops or Crocs. Crocs aren't built for it either.
Yeah. Crocs are not built for an ass whooping. Definitely not. They will end up your ankles.
Yeah, and neither stealing Kias. That's what that boiled down to. Some of the Kia kids out here stealing cars.
Yeah.
But he's traumatized, and the parents should sue. And I keep telling people, I keep saying this all the time. I'm so fucking tired of repeating my fucking self.
You do.
Blast them every time. Every time you get a chance.
Yeah.
Put that shit on TikTok, X, whatever it's called this week.
Right.
Put it. This is what. And I'd make them look so bad, just like they do us.
Yeah. Yeah. Make them look like the thugs that they are.
That they actually are.
Like the thugs.
But it does that. That whole thing invokes something, and it gives you a visceral response. Yeah. And like I said, I really have to commend, because that father's from the islands. That motherfucker looked like he could have laid on that bastard and killed him. Okay, plain and simple. Right. And it took him a lot of restraint, because they hot blooded, hot headed anyway.
Right,
them motherfuckers, they get the bummer clocking and all that other shit.
Right, that part.
They would probably end up seriously hurting him.
Yeah. And speaking of hot-headedness, Social Security checks face a $17,400 cut in the program. Yep. So Social Security is on track to cut benefits for retirees in 2033. So if you will be retiring in 2033, this is definitely something that you need to be checking out. That they're looking to cut some funding for revenues in the forecast because it's depleting, reducing from the substantial, of course, amount that they quote unquote thought they would have by that time. They're looking to make some cuts. So roughly these cuts would reduce a couple who would be receiving an annual reduction of about the $17,400 annually, or about $1,450 per month, according to the report from the Community for Responsible Federal Budgeting. So basically, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No. Okay, so a newly retired couple, one would see a cut of about $13,100. Basically, is what the report is saying. So basically, anybody looking to about to retire in 2033, you'll be looking for a cut in your benefits. So in other words, they just want you to work until you die.
Yeah, 70's looking good, right? Yeah. That's a fucking shame. You know where that money went? To them damn tax cuts.
Yeah, to them tax cuts. Yeah,
because they weren't thinking about that. They had the same information And they've had the same information
for the longest time. Yeah.
Because, they could tell you how much they had in the coffers for everything. Yep. But yet we can send billions of dollars over to Ukraine.
Yeah,
we can. But we ain't got no money for people who are retiring. Like I said, there are enough of us that we could. I'm
change
serious.
The whole trajectory of things. Yeah. No.
Yes, you don't. You know what? You don't. You don't have to be a hamburger. You don't have to be a nugget. Okay. No. You don't have to be a chicken nugget. You don't have to just keep following the sheep.
Yeah. Well, even chicken nuggets are changing. You got the chemical. You got the man-made meat now being sold in a lot of the restaurants.
So nasty.
It does.
You see that stuff hanging up there? It's like sheets.
Yeah. It does look crazy.
But I like my spicy mustard.
Spicy
mustard for nuggets. I had to cut your ass off real quick because you've been
You don't want no Erica White sauce?
I want no Erica White sauce. That is nasty.
That is nasty. That is gross. Oh, not frothy. Yeah. Anyway, I don't even want a cappuccino no more. So anyway, speaking of nasty, because this is really disgusting. Of course, Roe v. Wade has been overturned thanks to Uncle Clarence Thomas and the rest of his cronies pushing back Roe v. Wade. But the real downfall to the pushback of Roe v. Wade in a lot of states is this. This young lady won't be able to receive an abortion. So she will have to be a mom, and she will soon be starting not college, not even high school, but 7th grade. Yeah, it's really, really crazy. Definitely check out this article. It talks about a young girl who found herself impregnated, and she can't have an abortion.
She was attacked.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't want to.
Yeah. Usually they just say the R.
Yeah.
She was attacked.
She was R'd. And she can't get an abortion in her state, so they're making her be a mother, and she hasn't even started 7th grade.
But this is part of their whole plan.
Yeah.
This is part of their whole plan. You have to have an underclass.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And you have to maintain the underclass.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why there are also a lot of states are pushing having children work in factories and things of that nature, not even really going to school. They want
I barely trust them making my nuggets. Okay?
Right. This is what I'm saying. Like, who's pushing this? It's crazy.
No, they knew what the plan was. It's like having your own third world country.
Yeah. Or creating one.
Because like I said, you have to have an underclass, people that will be willing to work for less to do the jobs that
14
no one wants to do. The whole circumstances. This is how it affects
outside her yard and her home.
Mm-hmm. Children. She is a child.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, they won't provide any
health care.
She has issues with the health care.
Mm-hmm.
She has issues with the fact that she was attacked.
Right.
She's 13. That's not what you wanted. You're not ready to be anybody's mother.
But this is why I say the whole conservative mantra about protecting the children and it's the children and all this other stuff. Children, it's bullshit. It is bullshit.
When those evangelicals.
That's right. When they're running after, it's the gays. The gays are attacking the children.
Mm-hmm. No, it's actually all of them.
Right. Here's a child right here.
Because your men can't keep their hands off of children.
Right.
And everything that they say they don't like, but they like their chick. They like their chicks with dicks too.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Face the fact. Your husband's out there getting plowed.
Right. Right.
And you ain't the one that's doing the plowing.
No, you're not. As he's plowing you, he's thinking about it.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Absolutely crazy. These conservatives and a lot of these Bible thumpers, ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous that you can see this and think nothing of it, but then you talk about protecting children and the welfare of children, and children need to be protected from all these other things. But this right here, oh no, she could still be a mother and be starting 7th grade. She's a child.
Mm-hmm. And this is supposedly a first world, first nation world, whatever
Right.
it is.
Right. Some old
with
crazy
these types of things. But this is how it was designed to work.
Yeah.
And when they're confronted, say like even with this story, if you were to ask one of them, they'd give you some blank expression because it's like, oh shit.
Right.
Somebody actually asked the question.
Right. Right.
About that.
I just didn't go along with it and think, oh well, it's what the good book says. It's morally right. Who okay.
Whose book does that belong to? Your book? It's your book that you constantly change and revise?
I have no idea, because all of a sudden it's become a blessing now that she has been traumatized to that degree and is forced to have this child way before her time.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's bad enough. It was bad enough the situation.
Right.
That happened to her, but now she has to be reminded
constantly,
and then you don't know if there's genetic issues or things that go along with the baby. The fact of her being 13, such a young age, the child's may have some issues also.
Right.
But this is what happens when you cast a wide net, thinking that you're just going to get one group of people, and you end up you encompass everybody. You get everybody. That's real crazy. I mean, it's not just because kids were out here being grown,
right?
And it happens to innocent people.
Yeah.
So now she may even start in that in that cycle,
right?
That comes along. It's like they just never. If you live long enough, you see it. You see it all the time. Yeah. Because then the child has a child, and the child has a child. It's just it's horrible because they never break out of it. And when they do have one that breaks out, and they usually take off and they're running. They're gone.
Yeah.
But this is what your government does.
Yeah.
And like I said, one good unpadded folding chair.
Yeah. Well, speaking of someone who needs a folding chair, Ron DeSantis.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Dianne Feinstein. She needs a casket. It's time for her to go. She's dying as we see her. And Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, Lindsey.
I mean, not Lindsey Graham. Mitch McConnell.
Yeah. I know. Turkey neck. Turkey neck had that visit. That's when he had that visit. Like, it's almost time. He was.
I know your time getting short.
He was stuck.
Your time was getting short.
He saw people
I'm coming for you, nigga.
Yeah, he saw people that he hadn't seen, that he knows good and well they not here no more. He had that kind of visit.
When you can tell when it's almost
right
when they
have
start
that
saying
visit, when they have that visit, when people are like,
that's my
because that's what it looked like in his face. I don't care what he says on TV.
No.
He looked like he had that visit.
No, what he saw Snoop Dogg come up to him and he's like, hell is full of black people. And we gonna torment your ass.
Well, that probably would have been true too.
Anyway,
real quick, Ron DeSantis over here. So he suspended his black prosecutor, which is seen as a racist voting tactic to, of course, suppress voting.
But that's number 2, correct?
Huh?
Isn't that number 2?
Yes, that is number 2. That is number 2. Same old story, same old line that she's incompetent and all this other kind of stuff. And it's just like, what are you talking about? Just say you want everybody to do what you want them to do, and you don't give a goddamn that the people voted for these public officials.
Right.
You're going to remove them and put in place who you want to put in place. But then again, why then have the election where they are chosen by the people if you can just uproot them?
Florida. I know y'all in there. Why haven't y'all asked this motherfucker? He is destroying. Look, and because half of y'all can't afford to move, most of you moved. You use all your retirement and everything else to move down to Florida so you can have, some
of y'all mofos in North Carolina right now raising hell. Okay.
Seriously, you move down there so you can spend your golden years being comfortable, but you move right into a dictatorship. And your silence allows him to continue to do this shit.
Yeah. Yep.
Because he coming for your old ass. He gonna get your pensions.
Yeah.
And all that shit. If you got anything left.
He definitely is. Trust me.
But they fuck with Disney World.
What makes you think they don't fuck with you?
Fuck with you. Yeah. They don't fuck with the fact that you can't even get no fresh fruit.
In the words,
you go out there and pick it yourself. I hope you know what you're picking.
Jamie Foxx and every black family in there. If they did it to Jesus, they'd do it to you too. Because we know what that means. I can't believe that.
No, that was white. That was a white person.
That was white privilege. Yeah,
because I've heard that. I've heard that forever.
Yes, we have heard.
And it means just what it says. They did that to Jesus. They'll do to you because you ain't. Right. He was top. He was top 10. You down here somewhere. You a peon. So and they went right after him.
Yeah. We'll definitely check that out. Ron DeSantis, I'm not surprised. Although I do believe the people should fight back. The people in her county that voted for her should not just sit idly by and allow him to do it. Y'all need to show up and show out.
That's right, because you voted her in.
You voted her
in. Right. That means anybody he doesn't deem fit.
Right. He's
just going to up and remove at the raise of a fist.
Right.
Did you see his wife? His wife was him and his wife were on some sort of interview.
They look hot as hell.
They gave some lazy ass story where she had cancer, right? And I guess she was taking treatment. And he was really being a good husband, and he stepped up because he went to go pick up the kids. I was like, this motherfucker, he must just walk past when he comes home. He must just walk past and pat him on the head and keep right on going. I ain't never heard no bullshit like that. I said, girl, you thought that was being a real man?
It's just, I'll go pick up the kids. Like, who normally go pick up the kids? I'm sure she don't even go pick up the kids.
Hell no. The nanny was off. Actually, the nanny left because she was undocumented too.
Right.
Actually, he put her on a bus. She went up to Martha's Vineyard.
She probably was in D.C. over at Kamala Harris's the vice president's compound, looking crazy. And speaking of crazy, in California, no less, as everybody talks about California, blue state, California, there are some pockets of California that, of course, are not so blue. But anyway, so there was a voicemail that was left at a school in California, in a county in California, where the caller is heard wanting to kill black children. However, the police officer who was called to the scene after the voicemail was played really told the people involved not to worry about them threatening to kill black children because that's not important. Mind you, we're talking about the same kind of officers that school shooting just happened where those young children died because they didn't pay attention to that young man putting his stuff on social media and all that kind of stuff before he did what he did. And I forgot the name of the city. But yeah, so Right after that happened, same kind of situation. So again, here we are with a situation of a voicemail. Instead of you going to take the voicemail, do what you need to do with some kind of forensics to find out who left the voicemail, where did it come from, to track that down. You're talking about, you tell the people when they call you from the school, oh, don't worry about them threatening to kill Black children. The school board says they're concerned. However, luckily, they're not that concerned because school is out for the summer. Why the hell does that matter? If it came through, treat it like children are there right now and handle it accordingly.
You know, they do have summer school and they have summer camp and they have other things going on, still going on. But regardless,
just because they called in whatever school they called in, if it was a threat, you treat it like they were threatening any school or any educational operation that is happening right now, even during the summertime. You handle it. You go find, okay. And as an officer, if you get the call, what are you talking about? Oh, don't worry about them threatening Black children. Huh? Well, I mean, granted, I get it. They don't even give a goddamn about their own children because, of course, you know, so many school shootings have happened in their schools. They don't even care anything about regulating gun control or anything like that. So I'm not surprised in that regard. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff that goes on.
Mm-hmm. And this is why whenever you hear things like that, even if it's in the rumor state, that you hop onto your social media and put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at least I'd rather be aware of it and be wrong,
right,
than to say, "Oh, I heard about it 4 or 5 days ago and heard nothing about it," and then they, you know, something happens.
Mm-hmm. So
we seen what they've done. We see how they treat
their own
these white kids.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They have open invitations. Matter of fact, they open the doors for them. Let them come right on in.
Right. And then talk about the trauma afterwards. But this disturbing voicemail plot, of course, to kill Black children was in the Sacramento area. It was left at the Sojourner Truth African Heritage Museum.
Mm-hmm. And all of these things need to be taken seriously because of the climate that we live in.
That we're in. Right. I don't understand how you don't take it seriously. I don't care
if they're not white. That's because they're white. I'm going to say not white.
Yeah.
That's because they're white.
Yeah.
They're not Black.
Where it came from. Once it's in there, you treat everything, put it on high alert. I don't care if there's no children there. Then you need to just check the school anyway. If the calls are coming through, that means obviously there's a threat. And the fact that you decide or make the choice that, oh, this threat is not that important, don't worry about that, is absolutely ridiculous. And he should have his ass handed to him. But of course,
as soon as he said that shit, he left, right? I'd have hopped on X and hopped on Facebook.
Yeah,
told my neighbors that had kids that are going to school.
Yeah, they did. That's why it kind of came out. They reached out to the Black Lives Matter founder in Sacramento. And she helped push the news as well about the officer saying that don't worry about the threat. And that's how it wound up getting out. But it's crazy. It really is crazy.
And this is why they want to censor. They want to censor social media in the first place. Because
very true.
Just that fast, you're able to get out your information.
That's it.
Bypassing their filters and everything else.
Right.
This is why they want to, shut down TikTok and
of course.
Facebook does all its own shit.
They don't want to. Right. Yeah. Facebook is for the highest bidder. Facebook is looking at the money. But for anybody with information, they're asked to call the police department at the non-emergency number. So if anybody, is listening and you may know anything or know of something, you can dial 916-808-5471. Again, that's 916-808-5471. If you have any details regarding the call. And then what else? What was that? We did that.
Melissa, we got day camps and everything else. Matter of fact, that's how teachers get that extra money in the summertime.
Right, exactly. Summer school and all those other kind of camps. That's why I'm just like, what do you mean? Don't worry about it. There's still other places and things that can happen where these children are in danger or could possibly be in danger for some crackle saltine looking crazy. And speaking of saltine looking crazy, your girl, Miss Feinstein, went to the hospital after a minor fall at home. I don't mean to laugh, but I'm just like, everybody's falling. Donald Trump's first wife, her gravesite is full of weeds. She's only been dead a year.
Damn. That's because they trying to, you know why they trying to do that? Because they trying to hide all them damn papers that he got stuffed in there. Wasn't she cremated? Why she need a coffin? That's because there are about 20 or 30 more boxes.
Buried in. I didn't believe that. I said, what? I was like,
and you know what's going to happen? That part of the golf course is going to blend in with the overgrowth, and people will forget about it. Ain't that some shit?
But that shows show you how much you care about the mother of your first children, your firstborn children. You bury her on your golf course, but in the muck where nobody will ever go.
Well, depending upon where their state laws, you know, that once a family member or someone is buried on your property, they don't have to pay property taxes.
Oh, probably so. Yeah, maybe
all that kind of. I needed me a couple bodies on. I had to write some checks for some.
I got a whole mausoleum in the backyard.
They'd be because boy.
Crazy, but yeah, Senator Dianne Feinstein is about 86.
Yeah, she's got some health issues, and it's like she changed overnight within the past 6 months.
Right, I think she's had a hospital stay while we were on break, and they just never said anything about it, and they thought she was going to be, back in spry when she came back, and it just didn't quite work that way. She's been having some delayed issues with voting on the floor.
Yeah, it's called being a zombie, propping that corpse up.
It's called McConnell syndrome.
Is it time? Let it go. I know. It doesn't remind you of Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah,
that movie. If you want a good laugh, y'all gotta see that movie. It's an old movie called Weekend with Bernie. Yeah. It is hilarious.
Raise your hand. Say yay. Yay.
And that's it.
She looks
just play the calypso music and the body start walking by itself. Oh, that was hilarious.
Like, what am I voting for? What do you mean? What are you voting for? How you don't know? But yeah, she's been declining in recent months. But she doesn't want to give up her seat. And that's why I say
remember that though.
Yeah, right. But that's why I say that's the problem. You even have a lot of politicians on both sides that have used their seats as career gainers to gain tons of money. Now, granted, she is in and out of space and time because she don't know where she is half the time. But her children,
she's in the multiverse.
Yeah, she's in the multiverse. But her children are going already. She ain't even dead, near lukewarm dead, nothing. Her children and her stepchildren are going for all the properties. The last husband she was married to, he left the properties and stuff to her. They have a beach house in California. They have all these other properties. So they're fighting right now. She ain't even dead yet. They're fighting right now over her property. That's right, ain't it? The stepchildren and her biological children, they going back and forth.
Even the family pets.
Yeah, right. Even the family pets, old pussycats, going for it. So yeah, that's what's going on with Miss Feinstein. And I think is this the last one? I think we have the ankles picture, and what was this one? And oh, I didn't see that. I must have took that up last minute. Okay, so we have 2 more to go. This one, a child was traumatized by a poster because it showed 2 different races holding hands. What other place but Texas?
The parent was traumatized. The parent was traumatized by the poster.
It says a child.
No, but we know it was the parent.
I know.
Kid ain't paying no mind.
I know.
But that's how they're enacting, putting forth all these new laws and things with the school system, because it only takes one asshole parent.
That's it. That's it. And then it's affecting my kid. It's affecting my kid. All this shit we putting forth, we're saying that the kids are being affected. How the hell is the child being traumatized by seeing people of a different race holding hands? What is traumatizing about that? They see that on TV.
No, but what we need to do is say, there's too many white people,
right,
in these books.
Exactly.
There's not enough of us. We don't see it.
I don't see any representation.
Don't see any representation. Then take that shit out. Take that shit out.
My child is traumatized because he don't see no black Archies. I need something.
I need that shit out.
I need that shit out.
Get that shit out of here. We can't have that in our school.
Yeah.
After a while, it ain't gonna be no but white walls and black boys. That's it. And that's what we need to start doing. We don't want that shit. All you white people, I don't want to hear no white stories all the time. Because it's just unrealistic. It doesn't happen like that in our household.
Yeah, right. Everybody's household is different. That is true.
I don't see no tacos or burritos. Yep. I don't see any Chinese food.
I'm not going.
We can't have that. I mean, seriously. That's right. Pizza. Wait a minute. There's no Italians here. Why you got pizza in there? That's how stupid it sounds. It really does. It just sounds real stupid.
It really is. But of course, it's Texas. An independent school in north of Texas. It's arguing, of course, that the symbolism of racial inclusion and pride represents personal ideologies that they do not feel that their child should be subject to. Now, I'm trying to figure out, because just from the hands, it looked like it could be 2 men's.
What, and big hands?
That's what the main issue is, but it could be a woman. But I just don't.
I think they were just going for the color thing.
Yeah. But why? But in 2023, though, really? Are we really doing that?
Yes, they are. Because some people want to go back to the 30s or 40s and the 50s and the 60s.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know? That really is crazy.
Yeah, that's the things that they're worrying about. But yet your kid can't read, he can't count, he doesn't have common sense. Okay, they're testing the fuck out of these children. They test over and over again to find out where they place. But you can't even compete. You can't compete in the world theater. Because even in the poorest countries, their kids are learning. They whooping their asses. That's what they do. Right. But the kids are learning, and your kid can't even read. The only thing they can do is press a button. And if that fucking battery dies on that phone, your kid will be lost.
Lost in the sauce. Can't do shit. But no, a lot of the older people are just as bad, because I deal with a lot of them on a regular basis. When they call, I can't do it. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it. I'm old school. You do know shit around you is changing, right? So you don't, granted, I get it. You're so privileged that you feel like you have the right to be able to stay here and go, I'm not doing this. I don't care. Your whole healthcare system is changing, sir, ma'am. You know, for a while,
sir.
You won't be able to, you won't even see a doctor. You'll be looking at AR-15 of googly eyes or whatever. Fucking, you won't be looking at a human being, and they'll just scan you and tell you what's wrong with you and go about your business. Like it's happening whether you like it or not. Like I really just don't get these people.
If you didn't learn anything in the last 2 years especially with medical, they could do this shit like we doing it now. Because that's all he does anyway. And then that way, because you know how the medical system is anyway. It's like a conveyor belt.
Right.
They want so many people in. These doctors can't even look at. They can't even look at the pimple on your ass. They're gonna ask you, do you have turn your phone on high quality?
Right. You take a picture of it, a video.
And show it to me. Right. And that's exactly where it's going.
That's it. That is exactly where it's going.
Can I tell you, the next outbreak we have, you won't be going into the office.
Yeah,
you won't be going in to visit him. It'll be over the phone. It'll be over the phone.
Exactly. It'll be on the app.
Y'all better get a smartphone because no flip phone ain't gonna cut it.
No, you better get that app popping. But speaking of stuff that they do like to do to their children, why don't you check this out? I think
if you're the parent of a young child and you're not getting enough sleep at night, I'm betting it's because your children will not stay in their room. That was my problem too, until recently when I found this ankle monitor in Walmart. This brand is a godsend, taking a page out of the criminal rehabilitation playbook and applying it to children. The device easily straps onto your toddler's leg and then puts in the work 24/7 to make sure they're staying where they belong. Check out these awesome features. Using their app, you can specify a timeout zone, which is the room where your child is supposed to be staying. It's sort of like house arrest. You can also set up no-go zones for extra safety. I'm gonna do the whole house. Now, whenever my little juvenile delinquent sneaks out of his room, I get a notification on my phone. From this point, there's several different approaches on how to handle the situation, such as screaming at them from your bed or bargaining with them to get back in their room. But my favorite is to employ the built-in electrical impulse training tool. It's actually kind of therapeutic for me.
All right. So you get to zap the shit out of your kid thanks to Fisher-Price.
You don't even get the pleasure of slapping them anymore.
Right. No. From the ankle monitor that they give, people on house arrest. Now your child can start early. Give them a house arrest ankle bracelet.
That is too.
And you get to zap them when they go out of the range of the house or the yard or their room. Mm-hmm. You just press a little button on your phone. The joys of the technical age.
That is hilarious. Good evening, everybody coming into the chat.
Hey,
sorry, we have been neglecting you. We just been babbling.
I'm talking, doing this. I'll get to it in a second. All right. So lastly, a retired Black professor at the age of 79, a part of a group that created Florida's new curriculum. I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't know how I feel about that.
Well, that's another Clarence Thomas, right?
Yeah. At
the detriment to the detriment of his own people.
Yeah, because I was even going to play the cartoon clip that you sent me, but I was like, no, I'm not going to do that because it was just so like, really, seriously, is this what
wasn't that crazy?
Watered down slavery to?
No, but did you hear the little things like, oh, I like your hair?
Yeah, I like your hair, right? I like your hair, and oh, you mean all they have to do is go and be peaceful and not burn up stuff when they don't think they're getting their way.
I'm dropping the clip I'm dropping the link to the Frederick Douglass.
Yeah,
this is what they're playing in. This is what they're playing in the school system in Florida.
Yes, right, in grade schools right now, regarding people protesting for police brutality and things of that nature. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. I was like, wow.
Oh, yeah, retired. This other one is the retired professor. What you hear about what's going on with the school system in Florida, this guy, which is a Black professor, is the one that came up with the idea, with the curriculum.
William Barkley Allen.
Yeah, he could bite it too.
Yeah, he sure can. Because of course, there's always gonna be the ones who will go along to get along, and really cow down to this level of not teaching the truth. Now, nobody's saying, and I don't really even know what the issue is, because people don't want to feel. I don't want to feel like a victim for something that happened years ago that I didn't have, but you benefit from it. So I really don't understand. If we can sit here and talk about the Holocaust, if we can sit here and talk about all these other injustices that have been done to people and have days that memorialize them and days of remembrance and all those things, and these people have gotten paid for these things. I mean, granted, Native Americans still they got the Mohegan Sun up there making tons of money, although the other ones on the other end of the spectrum really don't get that type of money. But the northern ones, they make pretty good, decent living off of that whole Mohegan Sun casino, all that kind of gambling rights. And I just don't get it. I really don't get it.
No, because they don't want you to see how horrible they are. What? It's in their DNA. I am just under it. It is. They're a totally different species. I don't care what nobody says. They're a totally different species.
Like, to be very honest, I don't need to see them. I don't need to see what they've done back then, to be honest, because what they do right now is just
as horrific. Thank you. It is just as horrific. The things that they do now, I mean, in comparison, and were they more brutal back then? I really think they do. I think they are, because you don't hear about it.
Yeah,
and just left to their own devices. But every other race that has come into contact, and even species, animals, and plant life that have come in contact with these invaders, yeah, they all fall to the same. It's always the same thing. I'm telling you, I'm really believing that as a collective, and you have to prove yourself not to be,
right,
which you can do. So this isn't a general. It is a general blanket. I don't give a fuck. You proved yourself, but as a species, I would definitely say that they are very, very violent. What do you say? I probably went.
They are. No. I was going back to the chat and somebody said Uvalde. I was like, thank you. That's what it was. But I don't read the chat when I'm doing this, so sorry. Thank you though. So I'll be running back to here.
Did you see Johnny Mac question?
No.
When how do you? This was in reference to the young girl that had the baby. How do you love a child? Basically, how do you love a child that?
Oh yeah,
that was conceived, during an attack,
right?
And made to have by the government.
Yeah.
There was a woman down here that had the child of her attacker, and it wasn't. I don't know if this was he wanted to have contact because they caught him.
I think. Yeah, I think I remember that. I think he did. I think he was trying to fight for his parental rights.
Oh, he could catch a bullet.
Yeah.
Yes, he could. Oh, yeah. Yes, he could.
Because he was fighting that, although it happened the way it was conceived, that as the father, he still had rights.
Well, that's what they're doing. That's what they're with the whole, demolishment of Roe v. versus Wade. That's that same thing.
And not putting an age restriction on relationships with men and women, that kind of, whatever age is consent, it is what it is, kind of thing. It's really ridiculous and really kind of disgusting.
I tell you, man.
This is the kind of
aliens, man.
This is this kind of stuff that these people are doing out here. It really is crazy. It really is bananas. You wouldn't believe it if I didn't tell you. It's really.
I believe it.
Sure, right? Yes. So do I. All right. So I think that's it. I think I've done all those.
We good. Let's get to the fun stuff. This shit is kind of heavy.
Yeah. It is.
Who said that? Who said that? Who had been saying that? Who said that? Oh, they're feeding you smelly cat, smelly cat. It's not your fault.
Wow, that's
so yeah. Smelly cat. All right. So, who said that? This is the segment, of course, where we talk about YouTube stuff, what's going on YouTube, kind of entertainment, whatever else, a movie that we may have seen. But this is the more relaxed. Right, this is the more relaxed part of the show. So, of course, there's been a couple of hot button topics going on in these YouTube streets, and hot smelly ass, and one has been recently the Dovey situation with Just Read My Book. Apparently, Just Read My Book invited Dovey into her domicile, in the words of Kwani, and she's been there for 5 months. Okay.
You sure that's not a homosexual situation?
Yeah, I think I'm just saying. I think it's a little something there.
I don't know. So please be careful out here. You know,
it's hot out here, y'all.
It's hot out here, and the fall is coming. You know, some people start early, depending upon their situation. So I would advise you don't allow anyone to come and stay with you for sexual favors, either sleep on your couch.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Please don't do it.
Yeah. So they had this whole arrangement or something.
Melissa.
She let her come and she was there.
Lock your door, Melissa, girl. Lock your door.
Of course, there was this wine rack, behind her that was full of wine, and as the months went by, the wine dissipated,
started going down
to where it was no wine to be found. But just recently, they seem to have falling out, and she
drank all my liquor. Say my house is pissy.
She was asked
I put your ass out too.
And then once she was asked to leave, she was on live when she was told to refrain from being on live in the house, and started talking about the woman, talking about how her cat piss and shit everywhere, and how she smells unclean, and that her area smells. And I'm just like, well, girl,
why are you down there, girl?
5 months.
I mean, not saying why you down there. I mean, girl. But anyhow.
But I mean, the fact that you smell it, I mean, whatever. But you've been there for 5 months, and you just now saying something is just now bothering you.
Why you that close, though?
Well, maybe she likes to be close. She likes to be close. I don't know. I call bullshit on the whole thing.
I think I'm gonna throw up. I feel sick.
I just call bullshit.
You call bullshit.
I call bullshit. There's no way you've been there 5 months and now all of a sudden all of that bothers you because the room you were supposed to be in was inhabitable. If it was inhabitable, it was inhabitable 5 months ago. It's been inhabitable for the longest time. If that was the case, then you chose to live in an uninhabitable situation, which means you are.
What's wrong, girl? You want no more peach cobbler?
Yeah. You are just as nasty. But of course, people ran to her aid and cashed out her. She was able to get an Uber and go to a hotel for 2 nights. So, yeah.
They say Sugarfoot didn't like her.
Yeah, that's Sugarfoot didn't like her. The cat Sugarfoot.
Yeah, well, you know what? That could be a disruption too, because you introduce somebody new in the house, especially if you got cats.
But I'm saying if Sugarfoot was being harassed by her,
no, just her presence, because it's out of the normal. If it's just the cat and mom, huh?
Even
I mean, no, because it's probably going on before then. But you know what? You know how cats are; they'll go off. You never know. You'll never know. And it's like, wait a minute, where's that? Bitch, you done. Why are you not using the box? You know, that type of thing. But yeah, it could have been one of those things. Anything then too, you know, these more older people, the smell goes first. So that house probably lit in this 100-degree weather.
Oof. So I don't know. I mean, I don't. Yeah,
Sugarfoot took her dentures.
She said, "Stop fucking with me."
Yeah, it's war.
Yeah, it's on and popping now.
Mm-hmm. And Sugarfoot's probably been taking the liquor, pouring it out. I'm gonna blame that bitch. You know, and you know how cats are. Them motherfuckers, they murder you in your sleep if you ain't careful.
Right. So if they're pissing on her while she sleep.
She sleep. Mm-hmm. But I held her nose and shh, be quiet.
Stop breathing. Play some kitty litter.
Don't stroke. Don't fight it. Don't fight it.
Just absolutely crazy. Although I do wish her all the best, it's just crazy. I just feel like she shouldn't have been talking about the lady after the situation. If didn't work out, then you just leave. You don't need to.
That's all. You don't have to broadcast it because you don't know where she's going.
Right.
You ain't got a pot to piss in. Where you going?
Right.
You might have to stay there another month. You might have had to stay there another month.
I don't know. That's real crazy. That's tough. That's a tough sale. I don't know about that, but
it sounds like you need to take another Adobe vacation. With a Doe vacation.
She needs something. That's just crazy. I don't know, but poor Sugarfoot. And Sugarfoot is the victim in all this. Sugarfoot is a good old pussycat, just minding his business, minding her business.
Mm-hmm. And then you brought a new pussy in the house.
Old pussy. Another. Can't be but so many old pussies in the house.
Who just said it was the cat smelling like that?
Like grown cat cougar.
They took her dentures underneath the sofa.
God damn. But why is her dentures underneath the sofa anyway? Ain't they supposed to be in some kind of a solution, like some
No, they should have been in her mouth. That's what they should have been in. But you know what?
Probably take them out at night.
No, you know what? She could have been doing some overtime.
Yeah, chewing on some. You wait till I take these teeth out, girl, because she already sound like I'm going
to rock your world.
I'll be needing a translator because sometimes she gets fired up. I don't know what the hell
too bad you can't put the damn closed caption on there.
I wish.
It'll probably be coming up Korean and shit.
I wish you would. All I hear is I'll be like, what the fuck did she say?
I know. I'm like,
I'll be like, when she's calm, I could hear her, but when she starts going, I don't know what.
I need a signer.
I need a host.
It'd be up there. I don't know what the fuck this shit is. I don't know. I quit. I'm going home.
Yeah.
I'll quit. I'm going home.
I just don't bother. But so that was interesting to say the least. And also, there was Dategate. Of course, Tracy going up against Kiki, the woman, and their dates, and of course Tracy comparing the dates, saying that her date was better, and I'm just like, where, girl? Where?
There's a Kiki the man.
There's a Kiki the woman.
Okay. Oh, there is Kiki the woman.
Yes.
Oh, like why? I was like, is there a Kiki the man? That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I tell you.
But there is a whole Kiki the woman. Kiki the woman was first introduced around about the time she was the one that went to the IHOP with VS that time.
Mm-hmm.
When that happened, and then she kind of disappeared a little bit, and popped back once VS made her return back to the streets. Then she came back, but she was on a date recently with Optimus Prime, who in his pictures. The picture he uses was a picture probably about 20 years ago. Yeah. Still look the same in the face, older and heavier. Just, age, I guess, whatever. But yeah, he definitely uses the younger picture because he was getting a lot of the girls hot and bothered till his real picture popped up. And people were like, who the hell is that? Catfishing folks. So yeah, they went out on a road trip.
Shaped like a bag of potatoes. No, I like to say sugar footage saging the entire house. Yes, house is smoky as hell. You open the windows and just billowing smoke.
He is lightning catnip up in there. Okay, he is lightning catnip. So yeah,
wide load.
Yeah, wide load is not is an operative word. Optimus is Optimus Prime the truck transformer.
Yeah,
That's what. Yeah, he's a truck. All right, Wilo. Like Sherman.
Roll out.
Sherman Clump titties. Just real Sherman Clump titties. Just real.
You said Sherman Clump titties.
Yes, Sherman Clump titties. Give Pastor a run for his money. Now them two should do a wet t-shirt contest.
Oh no. We'll have no bear porn up here.
But yeah, so they did a date. Tracy was doing this whole my date was
his breasts are bigger than yours.
Oh yeah, they're bigger they're bigger than a lot of women's on here. But yeah, them things. Wow. But the date, I'd have to give it to Kiki and them. They actually did a road trip date. So it was like they stopped here and did this, and then they went places. They went to New York. They kind of made a whole little vlog series out of their date. The fashions were okay. I mean, personally, I just feel like a lot of times people on here have a lot to say about other people, but it's like when the camera's on you and you see yourself in full, a lot of y'all shouldn't be talking about people. Y'all should just don't do it.
They were hopping on the fashions.
No, well, Tracy was hopping on her fashions, talking about how she looked better, she looked cute.
That.
Cute,
it's a personal preference. It's whatever's comfortable for you.
Right. It is a personal preference, but as far as photo-wise, she had on tights and you could see straight through them. Like they were cheap. So it was just like, girl, nobody want to see that. You see your little thong hanging out the back of your butt because even where it was supposed
won't go on. It's supposed to be up in there.
It was up in her back.
You see that flat butt and the thong showing.
Because she don't have a butt, so it was just like, girl,
where's the thong to go?
I don't know. Not in her, but so
it's all mustardy.
If you into that sort of thing, strings and mustard. But yeah, I
say all back and no butt. Just straight down, all the way down.
Just straight back. So you can't compare the two. I think everybody's date was different, right? And for Tracy to kind of be like, my date was better, and of course her supporters, yeah, Tracy, your date was better, and your hair looked at it. Girl, save it. Just thank the heaven you went on a date, that somebody else was willing to deal with you an entire weekend, and she should really be thankful that her weekend did not end up with the man degrading her like the first one did.
Is he still in jail?
Yes, which he I think he is still behind.
Wow, I bet you he wish he never ever.
How you go from being free to date somebody and end up
in jail? Only on YouTube.
And I mean, granted, don't get me wrong, the last time he did that to himself, but yeah, initially what started the ball rolling was that whole Red Roof Inn shit. And then it went downhill from there. So I don't know. Oh, not the football shoulders. Hut. But yeah, so that was that. Anything else? Duchess Kelly Love did an interview with VS on her Sunday Soul service or whatever it is she be doing when she be putting them in church hats. I believe it's probably privated now, but I mean, it was a pretty good interview. I mean, nothing I really haven't heard before, because a lot of the stuff he says it on his own channel, but it was a decent interview. I mean, it was nice to see them talk about stuff and situations, but yeah. Shout out birthday, of course. Sean Bradley's birthday is yesterday for him now, but today. So that was cool. He's in Dubai, chilling out there. So kudos to him. Other than that, that was about it. Anybody watching Chicago? The Shy, a great show. I love that show. I am nervous for a whole lot of people. I have watched the second episode twice already because I'm trying to figure out who is going to be the one. But for those of you who watch, I think Papa's dad is in some trouble. I think he may meet the wrath of Duda because of who he is. So I don't know, but it's a good show. I enjoy it. Kev and I forgot the young girl's name who he was involved with when this series first opened up. They are kind of come back together full circle now as budding teen adults ish in this situation. So that's interesting to watch. A lot of the other characters have grown up.
I was gonna say they grew up kind of quick.
Yeah. So it's interesting to watch and see where this goes. But definitely, The Shy was definitely a great watch. I did watch again one in a thousand with the Tiana Taylor.
Oh,
movie. I just watched that again.
Yeah, Tiana Taylor.
Great movie. A lot of like really deep stuff in that. It was nice. It was nice. Definitely deals with a single woman who finds herself with a child, gets in some trouble. A child gets put in the system. I'm not really telling it all, so you got to watch it to really know. Child gets put in the system. She finds the child again and tries to like make right by him, and then gets married to the quote unquote love of her life, and kind of tries to raise her family. And as her son becomes very affluent in school and in his books, the teachers want to advance him and have him go to a different school. And doing all this pushing to advance his education, of course, you have to do paperwork. And when the paperwork comes back, it changes everything. It changes everything. So definitely a movie to definitely check out. I saw me away and together in Chicago. Definitely a couple. What? No, really? Well, she did divorce her. She did divorce her wife. Leah did divorce her wife.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, but they had just gotten married too, didn't they?
Yeah, they really did.
They weren't married that long.
No, they weren't. They weren't married that long at all. That's crazy.
You know what happened? She cut her hair and the nigga came out. That's what happened.
That's crazy.
And because that's true. That's exactly what happened. She cut her hair right after she what is that fantasy movie she did where they were wearing the goggles and shit? Player One, Ready Player One, or something like that.
I don't think I saw that.
You didn't see that one?
Ready Player One?
Yeah, no. Ready Player One, I think it's Ready Player One or whatever. Where they were like living in the virtual space.
Get out of here! I wouldn't be surprised. She probably was.
Nigga. That's what that is. Like I said, she cut her hair. That was it. That nigga came out. Yeah, because them lesbians are worse. Oh my goodness. They just personify all niggadom in men's shit. They are worse.
A lot of fast dating, a lot of fast dating, a lot of fast marriages.
Oh yeah, because they will dismantle one family and still remain friends while setting up the other one. Yeah, I ain't never seen no shit like it.
Just in case they have to go back. Just in case they have to go back.
And they'll all have Thanksgiving together.
Yeah. Right. Everybody's happy.
Yep, everybody's happy. Ain't no arguing. Ain't nobody out there fighting and all that kind of foolishness.
It's just craziness. Crazy.
Even buy the new spouse gifts.
Yeah, sometimes.
I guess that's what it means to be civilized.
I guess. But I don't know. With that, I think was all I had on that. Oh yeah, this morning I was listening to Read the Heart of Philadelphia while I was working. Her live was pretty good. It was interesting. She was really going at QB. I guess he mentioned her or someone mentioned her in the tracker, and she was definitely tracking him. So yeah, it was kind of rough. But I guess that's that's what it is. It is what it is. Jay Wilson has done tons of lives on this Dovey thing, going back and forth. I think he's done about 40 or 40 plus now. Yeah, talk about desperate for content. I mean, okay. But I don't think it's not that serious. It's really not. One, it don't have nothing to do with us. It's like, granted, it's okay if you give your little 2 cents, but to constantly keep talking about it, is whatever it is, this lady's gonna do it. If she's scheming, she's scheming. And if the people gonna give it, they're gonna give it.
They're gonna give it.
The business. So talking about it. Right. Keep talking about it, we're gonna do what? It is what it is.
That micro pain.
Always talking about that lady all the time.
Maybe they should do a show together.
Yeah, maybe so. Well, make sure you get a translator if you do. I mean, I'm not gonna watch it. I'll probably watch it on something else, but yeah, make sure you get
but what's that? Do you put it on Korean? Venezuelan? I
don't know. Put it on Swampback, maybe. Because I don't be understanding a thing.
That's right. The scam recognize scam. I tell you.
Yeah, I guess. It is.
And this is the place where you can try it out on.
Yeah. And if it works, you keep doing it. Because I mean, everything was broken. She had a alternator or something that was wrong with her car.
Yeah,
she had to get that fixed. But she took the bus to North Carolina. Well, why would you do that if you had just got a new alternator? Why did you need to take a bus to North Carolina?
Because the rubber band broke.
Oh. I mean, that was just a curious question. I don't know, lady. I can't call it.
No, she let Ron DeSantis pay for it. He was giving out free trips. He was giving out free trips.
That might have been it. Might have been giving it to the migrants. And she
because it's not as though he had to switch up her accent. She's right.
No,
she's just probably talking to him, and they probably say, "I don't know. Where the fuck is she from? I don't know. Guatemala? I don't know. What the hell?
Put on the damn bus.
Put on the bus. She all right. What the paper say? I don't know. Just mark an X."
I was like, what the world, girl? Please calm down. I can't hear you. Sounds like she sounds like the Tasmanian devil to me when she's fired up. Like, you're like, what? Girl, lady, I cannot. I need you to calm down.
Is that with teeth in or teeth out?
Teeth in, teeth out.
It don't matter. It all sounds the same.
It all sounds the same. It all sounds.
Ask Google to translate. Google be like, "What the fuck? I don't know."
Ask Siri to translate. Siri was like, "No, bitch, I'm not doing it." I was like, "Okay."
It's beyond my parameters. That's what it says.
Right. It is way out of my range. Yeah, I don't know.
T. Daniel said she thought she bought a new car. Probably with all the money she was getting, she probably could have got herself a used car. Because there's no way anybody can afford a new car nowadays. This shit's just ridiculous.
Well, I mean, I guess it would be new to her, but
yeah, as long as you haven't had it.
That's right.
That type of thing.
And then there you go. You got it, and then that's your mobile home for a while.
Yeah, this seems to be the thing. Have you been watching, especially like on here, everybody they get a van or a truck?
Yeah, van or a truck, and then kind of fix it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Living out of their vehicles.
Yeah.
That's the goddamn shame because rent is so fucking high.
Right. Oh, you know what she reminds me of? I just thought about it. On Waterboy, the guy, the not the mascot, but the coach, the country guy. What is his name? I can't think of the guy's name. And you can never understand what the hell he was saying. That's what she sounds like when she's fired up and talking. She sounds like him to me, and I just be like, I can't hear her. Yeah, I've heard too. I heard she gambles. So she's got she got a bad little, but that's word on the curb that she got a little gambling addiction.
It always amazes me when you hear about people have gambling addictions. It's like, well, what? You don't have nothing left. You done gambled it all away.
Yeah, right. Then what? You just stuck. I don't know.
Or maybe that's the fun of it, the scheme part. Scheme. People get pleasure out of doing stuff like that, coming up with scams and shit,
Right.
and then executing them. People get a lot of gratification from
it. Bob can't go quick.
Go sweat, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that too. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I just find it unfortunate because when people are really going through, then people always question them. But it is what it is. I don't think people should be jealous of it because I know sometimes a lot of people do. Like, why don't people support? The people that support you will support you. You don't need to do nothing extra to to do it or do schemes, because the sad part is when you really get to that level, you're really going to need help from people. People are going to think you're scamming and not going to help you. So be mindful of that, because the boy or girl who cried wolf does appear. So just be mindful and be careful with that shit. But again, it's your money. Y'all can do what y'all want with it. Stop trying to let these people dictate to you what you're going to do with your money. It's your money. You work for it. If you want to give it to her, give it to her. If you don't want to give it to her, don't have to give it to her.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and it's just that simple. People always be trying to, she's scamming. She's scamming. If you can't see it's a scam or whatever it is, because it's about being accountable and taking accountability. Now, granted, I don't, it was like, oh, I applaud Just Read My Book. I don't applaud her. People have told her not to do it or to be cautious or what have you, and she felt that she was right in her decision, and that's what she chose to do. So okay.
Yeah, but some people find out the hard way.
Yeah, there's consequences.
And then she probably thought she was doing some good.
Right. Yeah, or they could have thought too that it would be a turn up for her too, and that way she would be able to garner some membership,
membership. Yeah, people cross over and things like that.
People were like, "Oh, who's that?" And I want to, because as we know, people do it. People picking people up and sucking on their ping for clicks and views. So of course they would do it.
Get your ride all the way to New York. That must be some hellified dick.
Huh? To
ride all the way to ride you to New York.
Well, no. It was just to Virginia.
I was just in Virginia. Oh, okay. I thought that took it all the way to New York. Well,
no,
I guess that's still Virginia's good too.
Yeah.
Well, I guess just to get you anywhere, like Uber points or something. I don't know.
Right. Let me see it. Okay, let me see it again. We get to another dollar. Let me see.
What? Is that what the mile markers are for?
I guess that's what the mile markers are for. We going to another stop.
I can't with these people. They just do some of the. They just do some of the.
They
craziest.
Do. They crazy stuff. But
it can take you that far.
Yeah. It can take you that far. It can lead you down.
Yeah, sure could.
But yeah.
You say he has on jogging pants. He didn't see it. Or had on jogging pants. Didn't see anything.
That's crazy.
I don't know. Maybe them gas prices were cheap at the time.
Yeah, maybe so. But I believe all the cash apps that the person received from the people who was cash apping because of the deed he was doing helped too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
People were doing that, and I think when people notice that's how that kind of works, then people also engage in that too, because I'm sure when she first did it and it probably came out, people cash apps her just to be like, oh, thank you for doing it. Oh, I think that's great that you did that. So who knows what this could be. And it's sad that you got to think that this could possibly be some kind of scheme, to kind of either
Tis is the beef sector.
Yeah, like you can't put nothing past
So no one should be shocked about anything
crank up
that
the
goes
funds
on in the beef sector.
to crank up the funds. So who knows? But someday it shall come to pass, because it's funny how she hasn't said anything yet. She allegedly has spoken through Boss Lady in New Jersey, but she herself has not spoken. So that's funny to me. Clearly, this blue lady's out here saying all these things about you, and you haven't said nothing to defend yourself. And not that you necessarily have to, but I mean, you are the person involved here. It was your place, so why would you not dispute or debunk any of these kind of things that were put out here? Or would you just let them just fester, unless this was the plan all along? Because it's just weird.
Just get out of my house. That's all I want you to just leave. You've overstayed your welcome. It wasn't what I thought it was.
I get that.
Just leave. I'm not going to sit here and argue back and forth. Just get your shit.
No, but she was though. Like while she was in the house, and then she was going back and forth, and like other people were like popping on the panel and talking, and she's like, "That's not true." Like she all the way in the other room, like listening. I guess because it was on the TV. She was watching it on her TV, and she said, "That's not true. You're lying." This and that, and this is like, well, how you? Okay, well, just cut on yours, and you could say your part. You ain't got to be hollering over her
in your own house. Now it wouldn't be that. It would not be that. Because I'd be like, bitch, wait a minute, let me get my phone. I'm coming. It'd be right up on that panel too. Right. Sitting in the same goddamn bitch. You probably using my Wi-Fi.
Right, exactly. So it's
my goodness.
But anyway, that is all I got.
So watch out, Melissa, girl. I know there's a bus riding around your neighborhood that got Dovey on it. Wait,
I'm not going with y'all. And that's all I got for you guys this evening. Just please be safe. It's still hot out there, so make sure you stay cool and hydrated. That's all I got. That's really all I got.
Yeah, T. Daniel said, did you see when she threw the charger out the door?
No, I didn't see any of that. I heard because she was talking about she didn't have the charger, that she stole the charger. Then all of a sudden, they said that she threw the charger. Then she said she didn't have her medicine, so she let her go back in to get her medicine. But then she sat down. It was just a whole,
I told her, I'll mail it to you. What's your address? What's your address? I'll mail it to you.
That's just common. Why would you leave someplace with something as important as your medication, knowing that that's something you need to take just to live or to maintain your health?
Then I guess next it'll be her teeth. I left my teeth.
Right. I like my spare teeth. Is that spare teeth, or is that your only? Well, that's my only good pair. That's my going out teeth.
You're dumb. Yeah, going out teeth.
Yeah, she got going out teeth. She got in the house teeth. Yeah, the in the house teeth are not that. They're not that polished. Them going out teeth though. Them going out teeth is the ones that sparkle.
And then I got my grills.
Yeah, got the grills, right. So I don't know, but I hope everything works out for all these people, all these gates and things going on.
Well, there's another weekend coming up, so we'll find out.
We will see what else perks up, because whenever somebody says, "Oh, there's nothing really happening on the beef sector," something.
It pops up. It definitely pops up. Just when you think, and it's all quiet and crickets.
Right. Or crickets coming from somebody's pants. Gross. But that's all I got, guys. And until next time, anything you want to say, sir, before we have
prayers to Hawaii?
Yes,
the fires and everything. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
That is just crazy. Just wiped out a whole town.
Yeah, and it's hard to get off of an island.
I was like, but you got all that water.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have drove.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd have called for the Harriet to come pick me up.
Right. Right.
They got extra chairs.
I'm just trying to figure out how they're gonna get, if they need to get people off the island. How will that go?
Yeah, Yeah, but that's what they really broke it down. That's how global warming actually works. You don't really you're thinking at 1 or 2 degrees, but it's enough to dry out the vegetation faster. And then what they've planted there, because in the beginning they had brought cows and things over, and they were using that to feed the cows and stuff. And they no longer do that, and it grows taller than a human stands. And that 1 or 2 degrees is enough to dry out everything faster, and those winds coming off of the island was enough to move it right on through. But how do you have but then you have to look at the infrastructure where they were. They had no water pressure. They had no siren. I mean, I would just worry if I smell smoke. When I smell that smoke coming from Canada, and I'm still peeping. I'm peeping out west. Okay, because that shit jump before you know it.
Yeah.
I think too. We get comfortable.
Yeah.
Because you figure it's the United States. We'll handle it. But one thing we've always.
It's an island.
Yes,
too.
You're in the closed area.
Right.
What do there's only so many places you can run.
You can go,
but a lot of these people were, close to the water. And I'm like, you're going to try to drive out, lanes and roads, depending upon how many roads you have going actually out and in what direction. Common sense would just say, I would just go down to the docks.
Right.
Where the water is.
Where the water is, yeah.
Because if I still remember correctly, fine water that shit don't work like that.
Yeah.
Because
right.
Because people were. I don't think they're going to find until they start going through individual cars.
Right.
I think that's where you're going to find the majority of your bodies, because there was nothing left. And most of these cars are on the highways.
Yeah.
And they're just sitting there, and the flames don't have to kill you. It's the heat and the smoke.
Right. Yeah.
And then once it blows through, it just incinerates everything.
That part is true.
So, but just don't get comfortable. Your government ain't all that.
Yeah.
It ain't. And they have proven themselves time and
time again. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. I can say this. Well, at least Joe did. Joe did react very quickly.
Right.
Sending over help and these other things, where the other guy would still be talking about. We're gonna throw those bottled water,
tossing paper towels, like
and
basketballs and shit. Like, what the hell are you doing? People are dying, and you said they're tossing paper towels like they basketballs. Just retarded. But anyway,
we're gonna be on we're gonna be on on Donald watch.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna be on Darnell watch. Okay.
See what this motherfucker wants to do.
Right. Be on Darnell watch. He already threatened, of course, the district attorney, the prosecutor, for
that was the one from New York, correct?
No, he just.
There was one for the one. Oh, her down here.
We're talking about some. She dates drug dealers,
and all the rest of that. Oh, okay. But who was the one that had slapped the order? Was it the one that was up in New York?
Who slapped the order? Which one? He got
wasn't supposed to talk.
Oh, that was Georgia. That was Georgia.
That was Georgia. Okay.
Yeah. She just
see so much shit. I don't know who gave what order.
Yeah, she
it was like the next day he did it.
Because he's been threatening folks. So she made sure that once she dropped this, then the next morning she went before the judge to ensure that he can't talk about it. So if he go on his Truth Social or anything like that, they may wind up dragging him in. But he thinks he's untouchable because they made him think that. This is
that's their fault.
This year they're making him think that he is untouchable.
But that's the way that the judicial system works for white people.
It does. Unfortunately.
Now snatch this one down, YouTube.
That part.
Oh, Oh, you, yeah.
It was
I'm just a guest. I'm a guest, so it.
It was just the whole celebration. I really don't care. It really doesn't matter. Yeah, because I just
No, but
love it.
I had a blast though. I
Yeah,
had a
it was
blast.
fun. It was fun. It was nice to watch. I still watch it and still crack the hell up. Because I don't think those people should have put their hands on anybody. And for the countless years that we have watched people like that brutalize our people, and we had to sit back and not do nothing or suffer consequences, it was like enough's enough. That's what I felt like that was saying. Like enough's enough. We're not taking this no more, and it's not going to end the way you think it's going to end.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. That's all that was. And so if YouTube didn't like it, oh well. I mean, I get it. There's a lot of snowflakes on the boards of YouTube, and they don't like to see themselves get beat up, but they don't mind looking at George Floyd
right.
get canceled, but they don't mind watching Mr. Castile get canceled. They don't mind watching Michael Brown get canceled or hearing about Taylor, what was her name?
They got arrested. Had gotten arrested.
No. The woman that was killed in her apartment. When those people when those other officers call themselves looking for drugs, they were looking for the money that her ex-boyfriend said he had stashed in there. Those kind of cases. They don't mind watching that. They don't mind me playing that back and showing it to the people. That's okay, but I can't show people standing up for themselves because because the one man doing his job necessarily, because he wasn't a security guard, he was a second captain, just telling the people to move so the ship can embark, so the people can get off, and so on and so forth. No, you felt the need to then put your hands on somebody, but no, I can't show that because that's too much like right. So shame on you, whatever. I'm gonna keep doing what I do. So if you feel like donating, there's the Cash App right there, and thank you. But otherwise, YouTube, it's in the words of Kwani once again, fuck you and goodbye and good night. And I'll be back again on Tuesday to do the same thing I do every Tuesday, because that's just absolutely ridiculous. As much
and
stuff,
I'll be co-hosting if the band don't pick me up. Catch me if you can, bitches. Meet me outside.
As much BS as they allow to be displayed of the carnage that happens with us, and that's okay. That situation that did not end in somebody losing their life, thank God. But just got some people got their asses handed to them, point blank and period. An old-fashioned ass whooping, straight hand-to-hand combat, which they cannot do. That's why they always running to get guns and do dumb shit, because they don't know how to fight. Yeah, it was good to see, and I'll play it again and again and again and again. So, but thank you all for the support. Sorry for those of you who usually watch the replay. If you did not see the replay, it's because YouTube took it down because I played the video bit by bit of what happened on the 5th of August.
But notice one thing too, with some of the other content creators that you've been watching, even on different platforms, how many of them have gotten their channels and stuff snatched? It's been a rash. It's been a whole lot of them. And this is across multiple platforms. So as you see, the censorship still goes on.
Yeah. To some degree, depending on what it is for these folks. But we're going to keep still doing what we do, and that's spreading actual news and important stuff that we need to know about, because they rather us talk about bullshit and stuff to keep us blinded from what's really going on. But no, these people need to pay, because had it been anybody else, they'd be in jail, and we'd be sitting up here talking about it, and they wouldn't mind displaying it all up on everybody's platform.
Everybody's that and everybody's feed.
Yeah.
If you pay attention to what comes across your feed and everything, right? And the commercials.
And the commercials, and they would have been paying up. So, I'll throw a commercial in there. I'll put 2 and 3 in there. Yeah, but they ain't gonna put 2 and 3 commercials and watching people that look like them get their ass handed to them, because that's not what they want to project. They want to project the opposite. So yeah, serve it to them any way they like it.
That sounds nasty. Time to go.
The way they don't like it, of course. But anyway, with that, you all have a great night. As always,
stay safe, stay hydrated, stay moisturized. Use sunscreen.
Yeah, use the sunscreen and keep your cat clean and neutered.
Hi, goodbye, and neutered.